Welcome everybody. Welcome to the studio. I feel like Jimmy Kimmel right now. Sitting down with my guy Jake, and he has no clue what we're going to talk about.
None.
But I'm going to pick his brain on his experience with Real Broker. Let's check it out. All right, Jake, so we're a while into our experience. I think I value your opinion for a lot of reasons. You're a smart guy. We started working together because you were Air Force, retiring. You had built retirement there. You came on board with our team, closed a bunch of deals. Just being honest, like from traditional real estate brokerage, now moving into this Real Broker opportunity, like what's been cool about it? Like what are you feeling?
Well, I'm very excited about it. Like you said, so I'm retired U.S. military Air Force. So I have a pension.
Which is a retirement plan.
It's a retirement
plan.
plan.
Doing the military thing is to say, I'm going to put my time
Yes.
so I can get retirement.
Totally. So when I joined up, I knew exactly what my retirement would look like, based on my high three, which is, my promotion potential. So I knew that, and then obviously the benefits that came with it. And then coming into real estate, it was very much so. It's you eat when you are paid, when you close the deal. So when you guys made the switch to Real, it really got me excited because, I don't want to work till I'm 80 years old. I don't want bloody knuckles. I want to be able to enjoy retirement. And so I love the stock options. I look at it and I sit there and I do calculations probably weekly on how can I accumulate as much stock in Real as possible. So it's obviously I do the stock contribution on every one of my closings. Hit my cap goal, which I hit, I think, in the first month after converting over. So I'm looking at that. And then I've even looked at, just in my other stock accounts, some that are doing well because of the pandemic stuff. Some industries crashed, I bought low, and I'm going to sell high, and I'm just going to parlay all that and accumulate as much Real stock as I can. And then, of course, the rev share, I don't remember who wrote. There's a book out there. There's probably lots where it talks to be a millionaire, you have to have 5 sources of income.
Right.
So it's okay, I've got my military retirement. I've got my normal stock options portfolios 401. I have my Real stock acquisitions, and then also now my rev share. It's all, that's what I feel is how you can live nice.
Well, and I think it's cool because coming into real estate, the play for you wasn't to build retirement. It was to make some money to go on vacations or maybe to put into some institutional investments. And so with you and Stacy, what's been the conversation at home as you've said, hey, there's this new thing we're doing. It's breaks the mold of traditional brokerage.
Totally.
It thinks outside the box. And so how has your focus or how has your excitement, how has your waking up every day to put deals together to sell homes, just being Real, what has it done to your mindset to think more about wealth building retirement in this real estate play? Because probably initially it wasn't a wealth building retirement play to get your real estate license.
Correct. No, it was just make more money than I did annually in the military, which isn't that hard to do. So now, so my wife works in corporate America and she gets stock acquisitions for her company. It's a very large company and they vest. And I've always been wow, that is so amazing because, we obviously plan for our retirement. And so now I have that same type of stock acquisition that I'm very excited about. That's building. And then I sit there and think stay low stock, get as much as I can, and then in 10 years blow up and then I'm done.
So you're a top 10% agent in the city, you're for sure in the top 10, maybe 5% of all agents. You do annually 30 to 40 transactions. What advice would you give, I would say to the Jakes of the world, that are in that same kind of close a ton of business, make a lot of money, the Real Broker side of things, for people who are used to the traditional brick and mortar brokerage, what advice have you given or would you give them as to how to mentally approach the Real side of things? And then the flip side of that coin is for an agent starting out, you're a Real Broker fan, so obviously you're going to be geared toward that. But for someone in your position, you kind of Plymouth Rock landed on you in a sense. We said, hey, we're going to Real, and you were like, hey, I'm in.
Yeah.
But if you were at a more traditional brick and mortar brokerage, what would have got you excited about this, or how should they be thinking about it?
So I would say probably see the forest through the trees, right? So if you're just looking at I'm making a lot of money, maybe you're making $250,000 a year or whatever that comes out to, but what's next? What's down the road? Do you have to continue that hustle and grind till you're 65 or 70, or maybe you do it till you're 50, 55, or 60, whatever
Right.
that looks like for you, and then you're able to slow down. But then you have this, this other portfolio
Right.
that of money, instead of just like, did I save my money? Is it gaining 2% in a savings account, or however it is you balance that out?
Yeah, I watched this video yesterday with Kiyosaki where he was talking about when you put money in a savings account, your bank lends 10 to 1 against your dollar, which then devalues your dollar. And so he was basically just talking about how bad of an option saving money via a savings account is. I think, so then talk to a new agent. Like if someone's thinking, I want to be a real estate agent, a lot of times it happens because someone goes to the closing table and says, Jake's making what? Like that's happened time and time again. But what advice would you give a new real estate agent who says, I want to build wealth? Like, what advice would you give them as far as Real Broker being a wealth building tool?
So kind of like I have 2 daughters, they're 12 years old. And then also in the military, like when I first joined, there was no real talk about anything other than your retirement plan. But
Right.
then about halfway through my career, they started introducing thrift saving plans, which is like a 401, you can contribute into it. And so I started doing that. And then like the young kids in the service now, like they kind of get that hammered into them
Right.
from boot camp on. And so same thing with my kids, or like with a brand new agent getting licensed, it's like, it's just like the same thing. Like, hey, if you may be making $100,000 a year, but like invest 10% of that. You know what I mean? Like invest something that, you invest $300 a month every year. And then when you're 50, or 60, like you're wealthy, So I would just say, it's about investing in the future. You work hard now and have money, but your savings and your investment portfolio, which Real kind of builds for us.
For you, yeah.
In a way. So I like that. So.
All right, so last but not least, one theory I've been working on is something I didn't realize when I got into real estate was I was very much debt obligation focused, meaning how can I pay my car payment? How can I pay my house payment? How can I afford to go on vacation? My wife wants a new couch. How can I make the money for the new couch? So how have you been able to successfully, and I guess the military stuff goes into it, but how do you help a real estate agent successfully transfer their mind from, I just made 20 grand on a closing, I'm going to take 4 months off, to I just made 20 grand on a closing, I'm going to use that to propel myself to maybe invest, buy some stocks, whatever, but also to be more motivated to do it again next month and the month after that. Because I just think, for me, I come from a paycheck to paycheck background.
Right.
This is not bad. My dad hustled, but I don't think it was a wealth building world for him. It was a how do I feed my kids world. I'm not in that world anymore because
Right.
I can feed my kids for a long time. So I've had to transition into that wealth building mindset, because if I just go based on how long are my bills paid for, I'm not going to hustle anymore.
Yeah.
So how the military helped you make that transition, how do others make that transition that don't have that military background?
Yeah, I think I totally see what you're saying. I think it's a mindset, like a maturation, that we all have in life, and we see it with agents. I help with some of our independent agents in production and what like that.
Yeah.
And it's like they do good for a month, and then all of a sudden they like don't do anything for 2 months, and then they come back and like I need escrows.
Starving again.
Right,
Yeah.
and so they lack consistency. So with you, like I don't want to worry about can I pay my mortgage this month. I want to be like, oh good, my mortgage is paid for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just think people have to, again, kind of see the forest through the trees and like work hard, be smart, be responsible now. If you have $10, you just don't go blow all your $10 because then you have no dollars.
Yeah.
So I think they just have to have, be educated, which you guys do a great job, especially with your wealth building classes here. And then just, get educated, get smart, and be responsible with their earnings and stay consistently working.
If somebody is curious about Real Broker and they want to talk to Jake, how do they get in touch with you?
Give me a call, 702-493-1934. So that's my phone, that's my cell.
Ladies, he's married, so don't hit him up for that. But if
Thanks.
you want to hear about Real Broker, he's your guy. Thanks, Jake.
Thanks, Joe.